The applause was deafening. As Kash Patel walked onto the stage at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, the energy in the room was undeniable. Hundreds stood to their feet, clapping, cheering, some even chanting his name. Just hours earlier, Patel had been confirmed as the ninth director of the FBI in a razor-thin Senate vote, a process that had polarized Washington like never before. For his supporters, Patel was the disruptor the FBI needed, a man who had spent years exposing corruption and calling out what he saw as the agency's political bias. For his critics, he was a dangerous ideologue, a man who would turn the FBI into a political weapon for Donald Trump. But now he was in charge. And the real question was, what would he do with that power? Can Kash Patel be trusted? Kash Patel's confirmation was unlike any FBI appointment in modern history. Traditionally, the FBI director is meant to serve for 10 years, to keep the role independent of political cycles. But in just a few years, the Bureau had become a battlefield, with conservatives accusing it of being a weaponized tool of the left, and Democrats fearing that Patel would turn it into a tool of vengeance. Throughout his confirmation hearings, Patel denied any intention of political retaliation. He dismissed allegations that he kept an enemies list of government officials he planned to target, despite his 2023 book, Government Gangsters, in which he named over 60 individuals he accused of undermining the Trump administration. The Senate vote was brutal, a 51-49 split. Every Democrat voted against him. Two Republicans, Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, broke party lines and voted no, citing Patel's lack of law enforcement experience and concerns over his loyalty to Trump above the rule of law. When the vote was confirmed, CNN analysts warned of a new era in American law enforcement. Would Patel truly rebuild the FBI as he promised? Or was this the beginning of a purge? Who is Kash Patel? Before Patel became one of the most controversial FBI directors in history, he was an outsider. Born to immigrant parents, Patel's story had always been one of defying expectations. He built a career as a national security lawyer, working on counterterrorism cases before entering the Trump administration, where he quickly gained influence. By 2020, he had become one of Trump's most trusted advisors, leading efforts to expose what he called deep state corruption within the intelligence community. He played a key role in discrediting the Russia investigation. He sought classified documents that he claimed would expose government misconduct. He accused top FBI and CIA officials of working to undermine Trump. To his allies, he was a whistleblower, an investigator who saw what others ignored. To his enemies, he was a conspiracy theorist with a vendetta. Now he held the highest law enforcement position in the country, and everyone was watching. The battle for the FBI begins. Patel's first week as FBI director was a storm of controversy. One of his first orders was to review the Bureau's involvement in the investigations surrounding Trump and his allies, including the 2021 Capitol riot cases. Before his appointment, the Justice Department made the move to remove several top officials, some of whom had played a role in the Trump investigations. Behind the scenes, current and former FBI agents were worried. Some feared Patel would use his authority to target those who opposed Trump. Others believed he was exactly what the Bureau needed, a leader who would end the politicization of law enforcement and restore public trust in the FBI. The nation was at a crossroads, and the future of the Bureau and democracy itself seemed to hang in the balance. Patel's first major crisis came faster than anyone expected. Just days into his tenure, a classified memo leaked, one that reportedly contained a list of agents involved in past Trump-related investigations. The media went into a frenzy. Democrats called it the beginning of a purge. Former FBI officials went on television, warning that Patel could be weaponizing the Bureau against those he deemed political enemies. Some of the individuals on the so-called list began taking drastic security measures, hiring private security, moving their families out of state, or even considering leaving the country. Patel, in a rare press conference, denied everything. "There is no purge," he said firmly. "There is no political retribution. The media wants to create a narrative that does not exist." Yet his words did little to calm the storm. The Justice Department launched an internal investigation, while congressional Democrats called for hearings to determine whether Patel was abusing his power. Within weeks, Patel's FBI was under siege. Critics called him Trump's enforcer, while his supporters insisted that he was draining the swamp. But there was one undeniable fact. The entire country was now fixated on the FBI in a way it hadn't been in decades. While specific polling data directly correlating public trust levels to Kash Patel's appointment is not yet available, existing studies indicate a significant portion of Americans have reservations about the FBI. Patel's contentious confirmation process further underscores the divisive nature of his new role as FBI director. His next moves would determine whether he would be a reformer or a man who burned the FBI to the ground. What do you think? Will Kash Patel bring real change to the FBI, or will he weaponize it for political revenge? Is the FBI truly independent, or has it always been political? Drop a comment and let's discuss. Do you trust Patel to lead the FBI? One thing is clear. Kash Patel's appointment is not just about one man. It's about the future of American law enforcement.